right, we started streaming. Woo! All right, we are in it now. Actually, you know what? Hold on, let me edit this. There we go. A little bit easier to read. Perfect. Well, if you're just watching at home, I got some good news for those of you who are watching the rerun. So I'm going to be starting to multi-stream very soon, which is exciting. I'm going to go back to it. Reed says, I finally can go live. All right. Good to hear it. Be careful with that, buddy. I know you're a bit younger, so make sure you take care of yourself. I don't think you're technically allowed to be honest, but I don't know every rule on YouTube. But, yeah, just make sure you're safe out there. A lot of times I'll give you some pointers if you're just starting to stream. But let me finish my thought real quick. So if you didn't know, I have multi-streaming going on. So we're going to be going back to Twitch, and we're going to include TikTok begrudgingly again. It's just because it's one of those things where, I mean, I'm going to focus on the YouTube, but it's impossible to get rid of TikTok as far as at least one of the services just because there's so many people on it. So it's equivalent to it's like saying you're going to ban all of California from seeing your shows. You know, it's like even if you have a bad experience or whatever state it is, it's not a great experience for most people. So you want to make sure your business runs, and sometimes you have to make compromises. And yeah, I got to go back to TikTok, so it sucks. But I'm not going to focus on it at least, so that's the good news. But Reed says, I hit 60 subs, but they took it away. They saw my face. It's gone until tomorrow. What does that mean? That's crazy. Abby says, how are you doing today? I'm doing fantastic today. Yesterday, it was a bit of a difficult time for me because, you know, I was in a sour mood. Not really sour necessarily, just, you know, trying to make things work. Didn't want to talk about it specifically, but I was just saying yesterday wasn't a perfect day for me. But today has been fantastic so far. So thank you so much for asking. How are you doing? I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger on the show. Oh, let me get a jacket, actually. It's a little chilly in my room right now. So hold on. I'll literally be right back. 2 seconds. Oh, my God. All right. Got my jacket here. Sorry about that. Sometimes you be chilly. Being chilly. Where were we? Why did they take it away, though? How does that make sense, Reed? What was the reason? They were like, no thanks. We don't like you. What was the reason they gave you? That's interesting. You're doing great, Abby? All right, good to hear. Good to hear that you're doing great. All right, well, bottom line, what I was talking about earlier was the multi-streaming thing. We also, by the way, I was practicing some music last night, so I'm really excited to say that there's going to be new music coming out in maybe a day or two for the show, so I'm really happy about that. So it's going to be covers and new stuff for us to play, so I'm really excited to say that. But we can't get that. So Abby says, can we get a hint on what songs? None whatsoever on this show. Yeah, we can't do that. So Reed says, I'm under 16 and the AI face verification saw it and they don't like it. Well, it's not, they don't do that to be mean, I hope you know. They do that to make sure you're protected and to protect themselves. So the way it works is that people who stream like myself, we live stream, we make money doing that because not only is this a fun kind of hobby, but if you're good enough, if you're exciting enough, if you're entertaining enough, people really enjoy paying people to do that. So there's commercial opportunities like getting advertising. People send donations. So yeah, if you're going to be planning on going live, I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't do it, man. If you're that young, I wouldn't do it. I know you want to. I know you want to play music and stuff like that. I think what you should do is you should focus on making videos because that's totally fine. You can make videos every day. My brother actually used to have a YouTube channel for a long time, and he used to make Minecraft content. He used to make Minecraft videos, and he would do kind of like a what's it called? He would do like a tutorials on how to build stuff, and people really enjoyed it. It wasn't huge, but people enjoyed it. So it was very cool to see people, especially younger folks, out there making videos and things like that. But bottom line, though, is if you're trying to go live, man, I'm going to tell you right now, it's rough. It's pretty rough. Like, even as an adult, there's a lot of people out there. Like, we just had a guy trying to proselytize and trying to convert people religiously on the show. So you gotta understand, there's a lot of people out there that are gonna try and take advantage of you. They're gonna try and be mean to you. They're gonna try and bully you. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you're doing good at guitar, man. So stick to guitar. Stick to playing guitar. Don't do live stuff until you're old enough to, because you're basically setting yourself up for failure, man. So yeah, make sure you just take care of yourself. Make some music. That's what you should do. Focus on the music first, then start making videos and live streaming. You know what I mean? That's what I did. Make the music first, because then you got plenty of stuff to show off. Because let me put it this way. If you flip it, flip it. All you got to do is, when you're starting, if you flip it, if you start like live streaming and like trying to promote something that's not there, if you have no music to promote, that's going to be terrible. So, like, for example, we got Rachel in the chat. Rachel's an artist. Rachel makes, is it mostly digital art? I mean, it's, paint-based, but it's digital, right? So, like, for example, Rachel has a whole portfolio of images and pictures. So you want to, the whole point of live streaming is to promote something and show something off that you're good at. So, Abby's an artist, too. Abby, hold on, wait, whoa. I got to show you guys something. I got to show you this. Hold on. One of, if not my most prized possession. Hold on, it's right behind my camera. Hold on. I have this set up right behind my camera on purpose, so you guys can see this. Check this out. I got one of the few people who actually sent me their art. I'm not going to say how, but it happened. Check this out. Look how beautiful this is. Look how photorealistic that is. It's amazing. Isn't that cool? Abby says so beautiful. Well, let me put it this way. So the point is that if you have something you want to show off, if you want to express that, hey, I'm an artist, or I play music, or I'm really good at let's plays for video games, whatever it is. The whole point. Yeah, I didn't want to show this. Until way later. So, anyways. Let me put this back, but the point I'm trying to make here is that if you're good at something, you want to show it off, have it to show off, because you don't want to do. I'll give you an example. There was a kid who came on here. Several months ago. Actually, not several. It's like 2 months, and he was trying to promote his music, and it was, to be frank, dog shit. It was terrible, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, that's my opinion. He didn't try at all. He was being very belligerent. He was being very obnoxious. He was trying to promote something that wasn't done. It wasn't finished. He wasn't proud of it. So the bit is that he was trying to do it backwards, and it really, literally backfired. It's terrible. So yeah, one of the points I'm trying to make here is that if you're trying to live stream, if you're trying to make something happen, you got to have something to show. Have something incredible like this. Why wouldn't you? Also, if you guys haven't, make sure you follow Abby. Make sure you follow Abby's Instagram. Now that I got you here, Abby, what was it? The works of Abby. You can plug it in the chat. I was gonna say, because why would I have this if I'm not gonna be okay with that? So I'll be right back. I'm gonna put this back up. Give me 1 second. All right. Sorry, it was like falling over. See what I mean? Isn't that just gorgeous? All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Anyways, W plug. But yeah, so for example, Rachel also does art. And if Rachel's thinking about doing live streaming, I don't know if art would be a perfect medium for that, for live streaming. But I'll tell you this. I think if you just make as many short videos of you doing it, even if it's not done, even if you're like not sure about it, the process is what people like to watch. That's what people like with art. There's a technique that Abby uses, for example, that I've seen other people do, where they'll have a piece of art, right? And they'll hide the art, and they'll be like, "Look what I made." And so the first 5 seconds of the video, they'll just be kind of not showing it, and then after 5 seconds, they'll do like a slow reveal, and they'll be like, "Check this out," right? So you want to do videos like that because most people don't have the patience to sit through like a product. Think about it this way. You know how you watch somebody do something for 10 minutes on a video and you don't get to see the end product? You're like, what? Pfft, waste of time. Get out of here. What? Pfft, waste of time. You want to show most of it or some of it in the beginning so people have an idea of what they're waiting for. That's what you want to do with those type of videos. You know, I mean, I can't think of any to watch right now, but we could pull some up. But yeah, that's if you're an artist, in my opinion, live streaming art, you can do it, but I would seriously suggest not doing art live streams unless you're like already started with it, so people could see halfway through the process. Or you could do what I'm doing, which is you could give advice. If somebody says, "Hey, I have art, can you give me some advice on it?" Then it's like, "Oh, okay." Now you have something you can do while you're doing your art. You can like look at it and talk about it. So Abby says, "Do you do art, Patrick?" Not as well as you guys. No, I'm not very good. I do. I mean, I do Photoshop stuff like that, but I'm not to the level you guys are. The moment I sit down and I try to make something from scratch, it's like, I mean, it's probably easier now. I mean, I make all the thumbnails for my this channel. I design all that stuff, but I don't do art as well as you guys. So, but yeah, I just wanted to explain that to you guys. So if you're thinking about doing an art in social media, because the whole point is social media. If you think about it, it's less social media. It's not about that. It's really not. What it is it's a platform for making videos. 99% of it's like advertising or self-advertising. Because remember when Facebook in the beginning, what it was somebody going, "Oh, I want to know what my old high school friend is up to. I haven't seen them in like 5 years." So they just look up their name, they pull it up, and they go, "Oh, there's my friend Steve. I'll go say hi to Steve." That was social media. That was the point of it back in the day. But now you got Subway commenting on people's videos who are talking about sandwiches, and they're like, "You could have had Subway." Or it's somebody like myself trying to talk about my music or try to promote my band and things like that. That's what it is now. It's people trying to show things off. They're trying to entertain you. It's not about being friends with people now. That's the difference between social media 10, 15 years ago and what it's now. It's been monetized. It's about money. That's why YouTube's great, because people say that, for example, YouTube is like social media, and I'm like, it's really not. Somebody was trying to tell me that. You guys know my T-shirt that says, social media still sucks. So it's really funny how that works as when you're trying to promote things and use it as a service. Because, again, people think, 10, 15 years ago, that's what social media still is. It's not. So it's really interesting how that works. Goth says, "You strike me as a big Toto fan." Nope, not at all, man. I don't really listen to Toto. So not sure where you're getting that from. That might be some self-projection. But no idea. We got 6. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back. But yeah, we're talking about guitars, music, and streaming. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. We were just answering some questions about social media and how to promote yourself as an artist, whether it be like physical painting, digital art, or if it's music, what the difference is between social media is today versus, 10, 15 years ago. Even 5 years ago. Think about it before COVID. It was, still social media was very popular, but it was streaming wasn't as big. I'm trying to think. Let me look something up, actually. We're going to check out how big, what is the average user base? Average user base on Twitch. Let's see how big that exploded. I bet you it exploded during COVID. Let's see here. We could probably do like a Google Analytics. Hold on. Twitch. Where is that tool? Where's Google Analytics? I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it in a second. Here we go. Get started today. We'll see how many. Oh, I don't want to search anything or like create an account. I already have an account. Come on. Trying to pull this up. Six says it's been a dramatic change since Napster. Oh, dude, that's ancient. That's like 20-something years ago. That's pretty wild. Well, I was gonna say I wanted to pull up the search results where it showed the graph. I can't really find it right now. But Samuel says, I hate to say, but monetizing my art makes me feel terrible, whether it's in my photos, my music, instruments I've built. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, you kind of have to make your peace with the fact that it's not the same game anymore. It's just not. Like, people going out there and trying to play at bars or, like, do something on street corners, have a little shop. If you're not using the internet, you are falling behind. This is equivalent to somebody saying, like, I don't want to use email. I'm just going to use paper mail. Yes, there are people that still use paper mail, but they're all like 65 and up. Like, if you still use checks to pay your bills, there's a whole world ahead of you. So the problem is that you just have to kind of accept that, yes, this is what everybody does. Radiohead has a TikTok. I mean, Neil Young has a Spotify. I mean, he got rid of it for a while. He might be back. I can't remember. But you just got to kind of make peace with the fact that times have changed. You're not cool anymore. But then again, nobody is. Like, I'm on my stream promoting my band and playing music and things like that. But the good news is that nobody can claim to be above it. So I think you really do have to understand that everybody out there that's trying to, be cool still, it just doesn't exist. Yeah, you're using a system that's not there anymore. Like, I was trying to explain to somebody recently, somebody was talking about making CDs on my last show, and I was like, dude, I have physical vinyl. I have physical vinyl, and I've only sold double digits of it. And it's not because it's not popular. Like, I've got tens of thousands, 100,000 plays. It's just, it's just different. It's a different kind of thing. So Sammy says, that's the thing, though. When I was in Ireland, all the best musicians weren't full-time, but just dudes at the pub. That's fine, but are they making a living doing it? Is that their actual job? You know what I mean? In Ireland, they probably have a different kind of mentality for a lot of stuff. I mean, think about it this way. Like, if you're trying to make it as a musician in China and you're not using social media, good luck. They pay with their phones for everything. Like, if you try to use a card over in China, it's like, see you later. You got to pay with your phone. Like, every place is a little different, but you really do have to adapt or die. That's the whole point. You either adapt or you're not going to make it in this world. So if you have something that you're trying to promote, you got to make some videos. You got to make short stuff. In fact, I have to post stuff before I, go on here, because algorithmically, if you don't post something before going live, people don't see it as much. So, but this is my second channel, so keep that in mind. I have two channels on YouTube now. I have my main music one, and this is just like a talk show. So you got to adapt. Yeah. So that's the bottom line. CM says, I collect CDs, but I'm thinking about starting vinyl collecting. Well, it's going to be expensive. I'll tell you that. I can't even afford vinyl. I can't afford vinyl. So, I mean, even my own stuff. My own stuff has to get printed in the United Kingdom, and it gets shipped out all over the world. But the bottom line is that you have to pay extra for that kind of thing. So, and I'm not like a big major. I'm not Taylor Swift, so they can't make just a bajillion copies of it and sell it at like near cost. So I have to make as much money as I can to get back on it, because if I had done it the other way, which was buy stuff ahead of time, I'll give you guys a little hint about vinyl sales and things like that. If you're trying to sell product and you buy stuff ahead of time, you know what I mean? Like, let's say if I bought vinyl, let's say I bought 1,000 copies of my vinyl, and I said, I'll just ship them out, I'll sell it to people. I would have been bankrupt, dude. You got to do it on like a customer by customer basis. It's too slow. You know what I mean? Like, by the time I sell out the first 100 copies, it's going to be probably like 6 months to a year. And it's not because it's bad. I'm very proud of my music. I really am. But it's just people don't have the money. Like, yeah, CM's like, the ones I'm seeing are like $20 to $70 at $8 vinyls. I cannot sell my vinyl for less than, I think, $40, or I will lose money. Isn't that crazy? Even though the vinyl itself doesn't cost that much to make. It's the fact that somebody has to make it and then they have to ship it and all that stuff. And then there's taxes. Don't get me started on that. So, and I'm not mad to pay taxes. I'm really not. But I'm just it sucks that you have to pay so much to get so little. You know what I mean? So, it's pretty brutal. Rachel says being a broke college student is rough out here. Oh yeah, dude, being broke. I mean, nothing is more expensive than being broke. You know what I mean? Every day feels like Sunday when you're unemployed. You know, if you're trying to buy boots for work, you know what I mean? They only last, you could buy the ones that last a season and they're $40, but the ones that last 10 seasons are $150, but you can't afford that. You just end up buying the same pair of shoes every season for work. Meanwhile, the guy who has a little extra money spends less in the long time. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. Yeah. Remember, says, I haven't worn my jean jacket since 95. Would you still fit in it? I hope so. CM says, my sister has to wake up at 4 a.m. for work sometimes. Brutal. I got very lucky being a musician who actually used social media and tried my best at streaming because I actually can pay my bills thanks to you guys. And because I'm on this second channel, a lot of times when you're just watching my videos passively, I've been making enough money from that, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Remember, it says, no, hey, I feel your pain, dude. Yo, bring it right here. Bring it right here. Psh. I know, I feel your pain, dude. Sometimes you gotta size up, man. Oh, dude, it's brutal. I'll tell you what, we'll go off the music topic for a second. But, dude, I went from 200 even down to 160. I went back to 200, and I was like, damn it! Because I was doing rock climbing for a while. And you got to get fit for rock climbing and stuff. But, dude, I blew it. I stopped rock climbing. I got sick. Sable says, for me, art is the thing I do to stop myself from falling off a mountain. Good luck, though. I also wake up at 4 a.m. Hey, it happens. But I'll tell you what, if you're trying to make it as an artist, obviously, if you're talented, it will bring you places that, like, obviously are going to be less work, but you do have to show people. Daniel Johnston has that song where it's like, true love will find you in the end, but you have to step out into the light. You can't be in the dark. You cannot be in the dark and expect people to find your stuff. Like, let me give you an example. Hold on. Let's do something here. Let me pull up my browser. I'll show you guys something. We'll go to Bandcamp real quick. This is why, like, Bandcamp is a pretty decent company, but the reason it's flawed and most people don't like it is that when you go to Bandcamp, it's very difficult to find people on there. Hold on, let me see. Here we go. We got Bandcamp. Yeah, whatever. So here we got Bandcamp. They have $1.6 billion Bandcamp, and yesterday's 64,000. That's nice, but most of those are probably the same bands. Let's look up an artist at random. So let's see here. I'm not gonna play any music because it's copyrighted, but we'll pull up about. Oh, I don't know what's this. The Things We Lost in the Fire. Okay. So this guy's selling his record for $9. There's a CD you can buy for $15 and a vinyl for $26. It doesn't show the plays. Oh, there's another vinyl for $50. So this guy's been doing stuff around 2001. 2001, apparently. So let's see. How successful is this? This was on the front page. So let's see. They got plenty. How many people are listening to this or watching it and all that jazz? Looks like plenty of people are on this front page. It seems like a pretty popular group or whoever it is. But let's see here. Let's just find a random thing. Let me get a noun. And we'll do Mad Libs for Bandcamp. Let me get a noun. You guys got any apple? All right, we'll look up apple and then give me an adjective. Like the tasty apples. Well, let me just look up apple. Wrench. Okay, hold on. Let me just look up apple. Let's see here. Albums, tracks, artists. Here we go. Rotten Apple, St. Louis, Missouri. We'll pull this up. Plenty of albums right here. Let's see here. Community. Plenty of posts. October. Oh, that was my birthday. October 18th. So a lot. I don't see almost any movement, though. No comments, no likes. And again, we're just doing kind of a random thing. The problem is that when you're trying to find artists on labels like this, or not labels, but websites like this, is because there's no movement naturally. You kind of just upload stuff and it sits in the dark. Kind of gets hidden. So you have to search for Rotten Apple to find them, whoever they are. So that's what's difficult about the situation, is that anytime you're trying to find an artist and you're using these kind of independent label kind of things, it becomes very difficult. So let's see if we can find more about Rotten Apple from St. Louis, Missouri, which I actually used to live near. So wouldn't it be funny if I knew the people in this band? So let's see here. Let me pull up Rotten Apple, St. Louis, Missouri. Let's see if they got a Spotify. You know what I mean? Let's see if we got them. Again, I can't play any of their music just because of copyright. Okay, Rotten Apple, Spotify. Oh, that's going to be difficult too with Alice in Chains. That's funny. Artists. Here we go. Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all the things with the Rotten Apples, Rotten Apple with a special O, Rotten Apples with a Z, Rotten Apples, Alice in Chains, Rotten Apples with a Z again. This is what's weird. I don't understand why this happens. There's artists that have the same name and they don't have like this is the real one. You know what I mean? There's Electric Rotten Apples, Rotten Apple Tree. There's Rotten Apple here. Looks like a rapper. See what I mean? So they're not. I don't even think they're on here, to be honest. Okay, so Rotten Apple doesn't have a Spotify, so we can't get any more information from them. So, but let's talk about the rapper real quick. 10 monthly listeners, dude. Brutal. But then again, I don't know how much of this is the same person, you know. But anyways, the bottom line I'm trying to make here is that when you're an artist, if you don't have a social media, and I know it's lame, like we were just talking about, it's lame. It is to be like, what's up, everybody? What's up, Minecrafters? It's your boy, P. Swayze. We're going to be talking about music. It's lame to do that. You just want to play music. But here's the contrast, though. Here's another contrast with it. Like, if you wanted to get that level of exposure, if you wanted to get that level of information out there, you'd have to book interviews. You'd have to get somebody with a camera crew. You'd have to get people out there with a radio show. Now you are Rolling Stone. This is what I always talk about with my Patreon. Like, my Patreon has so many articles written in there. Rachel, you've read some of those articles. I have so many things written on the Patreon that it's like its own private Rolling Stone. So if you have questions, if you want to read about lyrics, if you want to learn about the meanings of songs, things like that, it's all in there. It's a wonderful little experience to be able to control that and not have some other company be like, no, we're going to show this. We're going to promote this. We don't care about that. But the bad part about it is that, again, you have to promote it. You have to talk about it. So Blake says, written, finals reference? Maybe. But that's what I'm talking about. It's a weird shift. It's no longer a bunch of different groups or companies holding on to every piece of media. It's self-posted media. Does that make sense? Oh, you got to go, Abby? All right, see you later, Abby. Yeah, does anybody have questions about that, though? Anybody want to talk about social media? I'll just keep ranting, dude. You guys step in whenever you want. Yeah, the point I'm trying to make here is that it is a kind of a lame experience because you had to take care of all of it, but you can understand it. You can promote stuff effectively. You can use social media to show off your music. And if you don't, obviously you get situations like this. You know, there's somebody else with the band name Rotten Apple besides this, Rotten Apple, and they're using it. So I know a famous example. I have a friend who was a musician in D.C., and he had a band called Future, and they were pretty dang good. I got to see them live. They were pretty good. But unfortunately, what ended up happening was the rapper Future, which, hey, he's awesome. The rapper Future was using the name Future, obviously, and they had been Future with a band label, the whole thing, for like, I don't know, I think it was 10 years or something. And so they were like, hey, Future, you can't be called Future. We're called Future. And then rapper Future was like, do something. If you don't protect your copyright, if you don't show that you're actually like in charge of whatever word it is, It happens. It's really interesting. I got lucky with mine because if you look up Finals, for example, which is my band name, if you look up Finals, let me pull that up. There are other bands called Final or The Final or The Finals, things that are similar, but Finals is just me. So I'm very happy about that. See, that's just me. But yeah, there's Finals Radio, which is something different. Final Sorry, Final Notes, Final Boss, Final Strand, Final Space. There's nothing called Finals. There's nothing else called Finals. So I'm very happy about that. So there's no confusion. Also, what's nice is that I have kind of a bit of a, what's it called? Kind of like, okay, this guy's established. You guys, if you try to do it, it's like, hey, obviously I'll be like, hey, just so you know, please don't do that. I'll show up. I'll knock at the door and be like, hey, I kind of have this thing. Would you mind picking something else? We're already doing something. We're already selling records. You know what I mean? So it's nice. Is it super big? No. It's not huge. But it's big enough to where I'm happy with it and I'm living. So, yeah, that's another important part about being a musician on the internet is that you have to protect your stuff. You have to really make sure that you're not screwing around and not paying attention. So, all right. Anybody got any questions? What do we got out there? Who's out there? Did anybody think of anything they wanted to talk about? Because like I said, jump right in. I'm just going to keep ranting. But yeah, if you want to talk about guitar, music, streaming, YouTube versus Twitch versus TikTok, things like that, I got time, dude. I made time for you guys. We got another hour and a half before the music portion of the show, which is on the other channel, which is just Patrick Gnarly. I think I do have to change that to call it Finals because it's like, if this is Patrick Gnarly and Company, it's like, okay, that makes sense. I think I might change the other one. Blake says, okay, here we go. We got a good question. Any tips on how to tell a drummer what's in your mind for the song without sounding crazy? No, I'm going to be real with you, dude. It's like just using your mouth to make sounds, not a big deal. Obviously, there are terms and terminology you can learn, like triplets. You could say staccato, things like that. You can say, like, do a thwomp. Or is it thwomp or thwomp? I can't remember. There are drummer terms, but you could also just show. You could just show, like, hey, can you do this in this song? See how the drums are in this. Drums are really universal. Flam, that's it. I think that's flam. Anyways, yeah, you know what I was trying to say. Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make here is that there's a language you can learn, obviously with music theory, with notation. There are words you can use. But if you could just show them a song, because like drummers, what's nice about being a drummer is you can pretty much drum along to almost any song. Not because like it's quote easy, but like you don't have to know what tuning you're in necessarily. You can. It helps. You can do drums and toms, but you hear a beat, you can pretty much recreate it. You really can. You can hear and be like, okay, I know what's going to happen. You'll feel when there's going to be a transition. You can feel when there needs to be a fill. You can tell when you're going to speed up or slow down. You can definitely tell. There's a guy, a very talented drummer named Office Drummer. I'll pull him up for us. His whole thing, he's very big now. I saw him when he first started on Reddit and stuff. But Office Drummer, what he does is he kind of does what I do, where somebody will say, hey, can you play this song? I will send you a donation if you play this song. Except since he's a drummer, he doesn't have to, like, quote, learn the songs. He can just drum along to it, and he can feel it out. He's great, dude. Yeah, he's awesome. I would love to see how he set his stuff up. Yeah, he was on, what's his name? Kai Cenat's show, and then he got absolutely huge. He got enormous. Apparently he's a super nice guy. He's very cool. I like his style. But yeah, Office Drummer, his whole formula I definitely looked at and I saw that and I went, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need to do. And I did. I set up everything. I'm not going to say like, quote, I copied him, but there are definitely things I was like, that I need to do. That is something everybody needs to do. But yeah, that's the nice part about being a drummer is there is a language. You can just get everything to go. Just based off of some very, very basic, hey, can you do like a it's not that bad. And you know what's funny too is I actually have a drum set in that room over there. You can't see it, but I do have a drum set just sitting in that room, but it's a electric drum kit. I don't really play drums that often anymore, but it's there. So if I ever wanted to switch over and do like pick any song or anything like that. It's there. So it is definitely possible. But if you're a drummer, what does everybody play in the room? We got some guitar players, bass players, any drummers? Who do we got out there? Yeah, being a drummer is like being the Swiss Army knife. It's like being the multi-tool. Emphasis on the tool. Blake says guitar, very cool. I knew that. Did you get that? You said you were buying a Telecaster or something like that? You saw one? Vocals, kinda. Ooh, interesting. Wonder why. Don't feel like you can sing? Why not? I mean, to be fair, I think anybody who knows they can sing is very confident in it. So, 6 says, I play with a garbage truck. Really? You're going to call bass a garbage truck? I guess that's not too far off. Oh! Got the bass players. Right in the stomach. Lucas says, I play guitar, piano, harmonica, and my main instrument is the euphonium. I can't remember what the euphonium is. Is that like a trumpet? It's like a French horn? Oh, it's like a tuba. This is a euphonium, everybody. Nerd alert! Ah! No, I'm just kidding. That's so funny, dude. Wow, that's a pretty big small tuba. You know what I mean? Pretty cool. No, that's awesome. You got a couple instruments there. Thank you for the nerds. Right on. But no, that's cool. Piano's great. I love piano. I think if I wasn't going to be a guitar player anymore, I would definitely be a piano player because I think it is so much more useful to be a piano player or a keyboard player just because you can play the rhythm and the leads at the same time and sing. It's not so bad. It is not a bad experience. So really, really enjoy that. But yeah, I mean, as far as being a multi-instrumentalist, do you feel that if you were married to an instrument, it would be the euphonium? You think it would be? 6 Foot says, I want to learn to play guitar. It's not so bad, dude. It's pretty easy. It's a pretty cheap instrument, too. Aside from what people say, like to get into guitar, let me give you guys some advice. Okay, so if you're trying to get into guitar and you're not sure, like, oh, what's the best guitar for the very beginning? How do I get this going? I'm going to tell you right now, there are guitars that are made pretty well. There are guitars that are probably a better value. But honestly, if you just get a guitar, any guitar that makes you think, oh, this is cool. Like, let's say you're really into metal and you want like a metal guitar, right? And you look up metal guitar, you go to a shop, something like that. Let's say you just Google metal guitar. If you see something and you're like excited and it makes you want to play music, that is what you want. You don't want to be kind of like biased towards something, away from it because you're like, oh, I need this guitar for this genre or this guitar for this genre. Or people tell me that this is what I need. Dude, if you see something and it excites you, go get it. And they're really not that expensive. Like, here we go. Here's an electric guitar, $200, Ibanez Geo. You could probably find them used for $100. You get a little amp, spend $50 to $100. That's $200 right there. Get your cable, get you a pack of strings. Don't focus so much on getting it right in the beginning because you're going to get everything wrong. What's important is when you start to play music, you're excited because the number one reason people leave guitar, the number one reason people stop playing something is because they're not happy with it, because they're not excited. You want to hold on to that. You want to be inspired. Think about all the things you wanted to try that you were like, I think it's okay. No, be excited. Be happy about it. That's my big advice for anybody who's trying to start guitar. Don't think about getting the right equipment. Think about getting what you like. And of course, there are things like, you want to stay away from maybe a Floyd Rose in the beginning, or maybe you want to get something that's a little bit more robust. You don't want to drop it and crack the headstock. You know what I mean? Things like that. But at the same time, you're new. So you're going to want to get something that you like. So maybe if you're a big Van Halen, or maybe you're a big Dimebag Darrell fan or something like that, maybe you should get the Floyd Rose. Maybe it'll be more difficult, but if that's what you ultimately want, that's what you want. So that's my advice for anybody starting to play guitar who wants to get really in there. Get your feet wet. Get in the pool. Jump in. And then see if you like it. You know what I mean? And you don't have to spend that much. Guitar is very inexpensive. It's really not. Like, you get an acoustic, you could probably find one for like $150. a good one that'll last for a while. I'm not kidding. Like, check this out. I have a Jackson here. I picked up like $100. Put all these are all the subscribers when I first started doing music and stuff like that. And people were like, "Hey, I'll sign up for whatever." Anyways, bottom line is that's why there's all the tape on it with the names. But I've had this guitar for a while now. It was very cheap. I still use it. I have all these nice guitars over here, all this equipment. Good stuff sticks with you regardless of the price. So pick something up. Get something you like. So that's the bottom line I'm trying to say here is that get started. Because you're not going to know until you start. And, hey, it's not that expensive. It's not like you're buying a car. You know what I mean? It's not like you're buying a house. And then, if you sell it used, if you want to get rid of it, you pretty much get what you paid for it. So, Lucas says, I'm looking to get into this Sonic Blue Strat as my first electric guitar. I used to have one of those, the Sonic, what is it, like $100 something? Hold on, I'll pull it up. I used to own that. I smashed it on the show. Sonic Blue Stratocaster, right? Is it the Sonic series? Let's see here. These are all the expensive ones. Here we go. Squat with the black pickguard. I used to own this. It's a great guitar. A little expensive right there. I think you can get it for less. But, dude, I think you should grab it if you're thinking about it. Yeah, dude, get it. Those are sick. I used to play one. Here's a video. I can pull up a video of me playing it. I will pull it up. Hold on, everybody. We're going to go to YouTube. Yeah, we're going to go to YouTube, baby. Pull this up. Yeah, we'll pull this up. Let's see here. YouTube. All this crap. We would need YouTube. Patrick Gnarly. Weezer. There I am. This is my second channel. Oh, I can't play the audio though, because it'll screw everything up. But hold on a second. I have to mute myself. Oh, hold on. I might have uploaded it to the wrong channel. Hold on. Where's the video? I know I uploaded it. Maybe it's on TikTok. I'll put it on TikTok. Hold on. It's got to be on TikTok. Once again, I have to mute this because the audio is kind of problematic. There it is without the I have a electric tape or I have tape on it. Where's the video of me playing it? Oh well. The bottom line is I did play it. I did own it. I can't find the video. I do a sick Weezer cover. Where is it? Where's my video? I had a high flyer. Yes, I did. One of the what is it, the Mode 3, Mode 4? I liked it. They're very brittle though. They're like very easy to break, dude. They're extraordinarily easy to break. Like not a joke. The neck pocket is like that thin. So if you get a high flyer, like be careful with them. They can absolutely just shatter. Absolutely. They're very fragile. Where is this video? All right, well, I feel disappointed. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll close this for a second. I'll see if I can find it when I'm like not knee deep in all these other videos and things like that. But let's see here. Oh, hold on. Are the guitars you smash effed up? Yes, they are. 100%. 100%. So, yeah, it's a very, very. I buy guitars that are obviously going to be like destroyed. Yeah, if you want to look at the most recent guitar I got to smash, check this out. Oh. See, it's got damage here. The bridge is separating. Can't see it very well. The bridge is separating. You could probably still use this. There's like a big dent in the neck. You could probably still use this, but it's like nothing you would ever actually want to give to somebody as a gift or to own it. Oh, yeah, look at the bridge, dude. The bridge is all messed up. Like right down here, it's all like chipped up. The wood is missing, so you couldn't put strings in there. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I smash guitars on the show because, one, it's entertaining, and two, you get a goal. You get a goal for like the show. Like if we hit this many donations, it pays for the show. It enables me to keep doing this. One, it lets me buy another guitar. It lets me, pay my bills for the house, my electric bill, things like that. It keeps the show going. But most importantly, it shows you guys that there's fun to be had on the show. You know what I mean? So it's not just a gimmick to be like, oh, I hate guitars, blah blah blah, or something like that. It's designed to show an incentive for people watching the show. It's supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? It's very interesting how that works. So 6 Foot says, your video was very informative. I noticed the bridge right off. See what I mean? If you guys haven't watched it, I have a video on how to buy used guitars. And I noticed a lot of people online, like let me pull this up. I noticed a lot of people don't have, used guitars, how to buy. There's not a lot of good videos on this. Like when you look at like this guy's video, no shade to this guy. I've seen him before. He goes right into like you're already there with the guitar in your hands. You're just sitting there. This guy's video might be great too. I've never seen it. I don't want to watch it right now because again, I don't want to do anything crazy. But 8 minutes, I feel like that's too short to really get into so many things. Like when I sit down and I look at a guitar, that video it's like half an hour long, that's everything I do. Everything I do when I'm looking at a used guitar. So it's very interesting. Oh, I'm like on the fifth page. Look at that. Very cool. It's your boy. A video within a video. But that's the point is that I'm trying to make here is that there's a lot of people out there that talk about used guitars and they talk about getting a good deal, but they don't go in depth. That was like my exhaustive guide. The exhaustive guide of how do you actually pick up a used guitar? What is the process from beginning to... I'm wearing the same shirt. That is so funny. But yeah, I'm glad you checked it out. But yeah, to answer your earlier question, yes, I do buy guitars that are damaged. I don't really want to, smash a perfectly good guitar, but I have done it on the show before. But usually it's because people send a crazy amount of money, and I don't want to leave them hanging, man. So. Whatever. You watched that 3 times, by the way. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you checked it out. Did you like it? Did you subscribe to it and all that jazz? If you leave a comment, that's always really big. Did you guys? I just want to point this out. This is really funny. I just want to point this out. Somebody left me a really bizarre comment on the Jaguar one, which is getting a fair amount of views, which I'm happy about. But I'm going to pause this. Oh, an ad? Forgot I'm on Bing. This guy left this very long comment about like. Is very funny. And I just hit him with a, okay. He basically was talking about, if you guys don't know, I made a video about Jaguars and stuff. And I was talking about what's wrong with Fender Jaguars and what's right. And my point was that the Jaguar, which is, if you don't know, it is this guitar right here. If you don't know, it's this very beautiful chrome laden guitar with an offset body. They are great guitars, but from factory, a lot of them have problems. And so you'll see a lot like the vintage reissue ones, even the non-vintage reissue ones, you'll see ones with just like a lot of issues. And it's very annoying. It's very annoying. But the bottom line is that you can, what I call, domesticate the Jaguar. You can fix things on it. And Fender has gotten wise enough to where the newer ones that they put out tend to have a lot of fixes on them. And I gave some examples of the fixes. And that guy was like, do you know about the things they did to fix them? Blah, blah, blah. Also, the original pickup selector's not so bad. And I'm like, shut up, dude. Come on. Did you even watch the video? I talked about that. I said it's not a big deal. I said it's annoying. It like can mess things up, but it's not that big of a deal. But that's why people kind of gravitate towards Tellys and Strats, because they're easier to use, they're more iconic, they're less expensive, etc. So there's a lot of reasons. But it is funny that some people leave comments. The comment section is 99% just, hey man, I'm going to state the obvious. And it's like, thank you for stating the obvious. It's like, come on, man. Come on, dude. Meanwhile, I'll tell you, there was another guy who did a review, which I thought was really funny. Professional Classic Jaguar. This is the guitar I directly referenced in my video because it's the latest rendition. And I think they did it perfectly. This guy right here, this video, Big Jake Music. Now, I'm not going to throw shade towards somebody for, like, subjective reasons. You know, like, oh, I don't like his style or how he played the guitar, blah, blah, blah. I don't like to do that. But objectively, his video where he talked about this is 45 minutes long. More than half of it, he talks about everything he doesn't like, right? He's very critical about it, and he's, like, very negative, and he kind of rants, like kind of what I'm doing now. But, again, this is a video. This is live. So you should really be respectful of your audience when you're doing a video. You should edit stuff out. And bottom line is I was watching it, and then halfway through the video he goes, but I actually really like this. And I'm like, 20-something minutes into the video, and now you're telling us you like it? And he also has the clickbait. He has all this clickbait. The only real review. What were they thinking? And it's like, anyway, so you get like two very, very different kind of views on the world. You have the guy that makes the video that has like almost no information in it whatsoever and is very, buries the lead. And then you have the commenter that is talking about what's in the video and doesn't understand it's already been addressed. So, anyways, it's a nice little give and take with YouTube. A lot of crazy people. So, anyways, I just wanted to talk about that. Bipolar taste. That sounds like exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Carlos. And we got Zoe. Hello, welcome back. All right, yeah. Anybody have a guitar or anything else they want to talk about specifically? I know I'm just going to keep rambling on. You know what I mean? Rambling on. Also, I want to point something out. This is pretty interesting. He talks about how his video is the only real review because he bought it with his own money or whatever. You can be given an item. You can be sent an item for review without paying for it and not be required to give a good review or anything. What's his name? Who's the guy that does all the tech, the phones and stuff? Oh, let me pull him up. He's awesome. He got like a little bit of controversy recently for speeding. Marquise Brownlee. Yeah, we got this guy. You guys have seen him. He's great. He gets stuff sent to him all the time. He does reviews, but he doesn't like give them favorable stuff because they send it to him. So the guy with the Jaguar, again, I think his name was Big Jake. Again, it's just inaccurate. Just because somebody sends you something doesn't mean you're going to give them a glowing review. Some people do. I'm sure it happens. I'm sure that bias happens, but not a big deal. So we got Susan. It says, find me something that makes much sense these days besides heavy metal and rock. Are you asking me to be your personal DJ? What are you talking about? Blake's like, you should listen to his band. Thank you so much, Blake. I don't know, Susan. What kind of bands do you like? What are you into? What do you think's good? Because I think the problem right now is not that there's not enough music. It's that there's too much. We have no idea where to go. So yeah, so what kind of music do you like? Let me get a feel for it. Blake's like, anytime, Pat. Here you go. Let me get one of these. Psh! Thanks, buddy. Yeah, let's hear it, Susan. What do you like to listen to? I can't recommend something without having a little bit of a feel for what you might like. You know what I'm saying? 6 Foot says, and AI is going crazy good too. Oh, this is something I wanted to talk about on the show too. So hold that thought, Susan. So there's a guy. This is very important. I was going to make a video about this because this is the state of music. Let me pull this guy up. What's that video game? Helldivers. Helldivers 2 song hair metal. There's a guy that makes AI music. What's his name? Okay, there's a guy named Jonathan Young that's doing it, but his name's like Master Helldiver. I can't play his music because, again, it's copyrighted, which is a joke because it's AI, but check this out. He has millions of views on his AI music. Most people don't realize it's AI music. Can you believe that? Can you believe, like, let's do this. Here, I gotta make sure this is muted. Can I mute this tab real quick? Hold on. We gotta mute this tab. Yeah, mute tab. Here we go. So I'm going to pull this up, and we're going to look through the comments for a second, and then I will show you that most people don't realize it's fake. It's AI music. Does that mean it's not music? No, but he's not being honest about it, and it's really messed up. It's really messed up. Okay, here, we'll pull up his latest track. See if there's any comments. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Watch this. Love it. For Liberty. Love your profile pic. The riffs are effing insane. Okay, so people are into it. Not a single thing about it being AI so far. Let's go to his most popular video. Hold on. Witness Me. Oh, let's go to his shorts. The shorts are the ones that like get really, really popular. Here we go. 7.3 million views on this. Check it out. Let's go to the comments. Here we go. Finally, Titanfall. This is a perfect representation of why fighting humans would traumatize aliens. All right. Again, people just very happy about it. You know this happened in Supreme York. That's funny. So basically just everybody's super into it. Everybody's super happy. This is canon now. Thank you. Very cool. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody's just super stoked on it. I think they're more stoked on the video. Were they talking about the music? Hold on. I want to talk about the music. Because, like, it's bizarre. It is so bizarre that people are like, yeah, this is a great song. I really love it. This dude's amazing. And it was shocking. Or wait, is this the guy that does music? Oh, hold on. Real quick. Watch this. Music with soul for true helldivers. That's kind of messed up. But okay. So let's check the second one. Let's see about the comments. Let's see here. This is brilliant. I had no idea you could even do that. Shut up, automaton. Okay, interesting. I want this song now. Let's check it out. Ask ChatGPT for a copy. That's funny. Yay for AI slop. Oh, okay. We got some people calling it out. We got some people calling it out. Can you do the song better? Somebody said. Okay, people talking about the strats. Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'll keep looking through. But I remember seeing a bunch of people talk about how good the music is and how it's not AI. Oh, I need this song ASAP. Let's see here. People talking about the song, though, fire. Again, we're not going to listen to it because I don't want to get copyright stuff, which, again, is super funny. But anyways, as you go through it, I know for a fact, as you go through it, you'll see people talking about how they love the songs and they're doing so great and they're having a good time. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. But here's the thing. Let me go back. Let's read. Oh, whoops. Yeah, let's read this. Okay, so I'll read this to you guys. Hey, brother Helldiver. Already kind of a weird start. I'm Joe Hell, an artist who turns the fire of Helldivers 2 into real songs, crafted from soul, heart, spirit, and just a bit of madness for democracy. All right, let's continue. I don't use AI to copy and paste soulless trash. Oh, so he doesn't use AI. Most people are going to read that and they're going to go, oh, he doesn't use AI. I use it like a helldiver uses a stratagem. He just said he doesn't use it. And then the next sentence he says, I use it like a helldiver. What? I don't use MSG in my food. I use MSG to make it taste good. Excuse me? Excuse me? Carlos says he is a bot. Insane. He has 45,000 listeners on Spotify. He probably has way more now. Let's go check it out. Let's see how many he's got. It's probably in the millions now. 38. Okay, so he's up there. So he's getting paid for this, which is, again, hey, on one hand, I totally understand the concept of people using AI as a tool. Sometimes you want to get a stem out of something. Sometimes you want to remove a vocal line. Sometimes you use it to improve your photographs or something like that. There are legitimate uses. I completely understand it. I get it. But this is fucking deceptive. Come on. I don't use AI. He says that right there. And then the next sentence he says, I use it. Come on, man. These songs aren't generic. They're born from pain, victory, and sacrifice. They sound like freedom. I handwrite every lyric. Okay. I'm just passionate. It makes me angry. Listen, if he wants to use AI to make music, I get it. We can't stop him. But again, this is deceptive. When you say the words, I don't use AI, you make people think, why does he keep Googling stuff? Sorry, I keep looking away. When you say something like that, I think it's very deceptive and it's horrible. Because again, there are people out there that are pulling this stuff up and they're not understanding that it's AI. Does that make sense? They don't understand. They don't understand when they listen to this music. This is somebody that just kind of used a prop. You know what I mean? So it's bizarre. It's bizarre how this happens. And again, the people in the chat don't understand. They don't understand that this is AI. Some of them do, but most don't. And it's because there are people out there that will put the phrase, this is not AI. And it's insane. So, anyways, that's my rant about, what's his name? Master Helldiver Records. That's my rant about it. Again, there are legitimate uses for it. I understand why it exists. But when you put something out there and you claim this is not AI, and then you just kind of brush it off in the chat, it's like, come on, man. Aren't you supposed to put like a thing on there that says this is AI, by the way? I don't know. I'm just saying. It's very frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating to have that kind of put in there. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, make sure. Yeah, I know I swore just a second ago because I'm being passionate about it. But mods, please don't do that because what happens is that in the text, it'll like read that. I know I just did it. I broke my own rule, but yeah, make sure you don't swear in the chat too much because it'll read that and it'll think because like you guys, there's a chat filter, but the mods for some reason don't get chat filtered, so it's really weird. I don't know why it doesn't work. So yeah, I don't know why that happens, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that the mods can get away with that kind of supersedes it. So again, I just broke it, but yeah, just try not to do it. Just because it's just algorithmically, if you write it out, it really just like sets it off. Because anything, you guys want to hear something crazy? Check this out. This is an interesting thing about YouTube. When you're doing a video, here I'll pull this up. Let me pull up my account. It actually, whenever I say something, it records it, not just like video wise, but it like writes it down. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Here, I'll pull up a video of me, and then let's see here. The pro coverage thing. Show chat replay. Let's see here. I want to see if I can find this. This is very, very interesting how this works. Not a live panel. Where is it? All right, I guess I'll let the video play for a second. But yeah, what it does is there's like a thing on the left that shows like chapters. It's really weird. And obviously some people put that in themselves. But, yeah, let me see if I can pull this up. But, yeah, it was just like, where did he say this word? Maybe that's a premium only thing. I don't know. Transcript. Here we go. I found it. Okay. Whoops. Let me put it back to smaller. There we go. Oh, doesn't matter. Okay. So check this out. Watch this. So we're on my video where I talk about pro coverage. Look at this. Everything I say is written down. So if I want to go to a specific point, where if I talk about money, boop, nope, they move on. It's right there. Isn't that crazy? Like, we all knew that it kind of understood what we were saying. So, yeah, so if you say something, not only does it do the subtitles, but it writes it down and saves it. Very, very interesting. I mean, that's obviously very helpful. But just imagine everything you say on something gets recorded like that. It's very interesting. Man, what a bizarre thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, so if you go, where did I play this song? You can just do Control F and then maybe I'll put the. You can see all the times I said the. Wild. So yeah, so that's a little feature. So YouTube definitely does, like right now as I'm speaking, it is transcribing it into a little pane on the sides of the screen. But that's another like obvious that like AI is doing that. I get it. So there's a model out there that's taking what I say. No, it's okay, dude. You don't have to keep saying it. It's all good. I'm just letting you know. Nobody's mad. I just wanted to let you know ahead of time. Because we had some people. There was an incident recently on the other channel where somebody was saying something rude and the mods didn't see it right away or something happened. So I had to be like, hey, just so you know, just so we're all on the same page. So, yeah. Pancake says, even some of my teachers use AI now. I mean, again, there's legitimate uses. Like, let me go back to this. Like, the fact that this exists, beautiful. Nobody's upset that stenographers, the people that type all this stuff out, aren't getting this job because they weren't doing it to begin with, first of all. I would have had to have typed all that out. That would have taken way too long. And you could just obviously edit it. But when you go back to channels like, where is it? Like this guy, again, making something with AI doesn't constitute as necessarily bad, but being deceptive about it and pretending that it is your music, that's not, when you say I don't use AI and you bury it halfway into your thing right here, like it's one line. He says one line where he admits to it. Everything else he kind of tries to trick you into thinking that he makes it. And he doesn't. He doesn't, ultimately. And to be fair, to play devil's advocate, when somebody says that AI is just like a bot, no, there's a person behind it. I get it. There's a person editing things. You know what I mean? There's a person behind the screen going, no, that looks bad. No, fix this. No, fix that. But ultimately, they're not the ones actually doing the work. I get it. But again, it's about the deception. It's about being realistic. And I'll give you an opposite example. Somebody doing human things that is also not, in my opinion, it's not right. So let me pull this up. Hold on. Somebody doing, like, editing things by hand. This nerd right here. This guy bothers me. So there's a guy named Davin Glover. You guys have seen this dude before. He does, like, a tapping technique and a bunch of other things. But the bottom line is that he makes it seem like this is a live take. And what he ends up doing actually is he plays the guitar, he records it, and then he edits it to, like, the end of the world. Every note, every line, every sustained note, I mean, every tap, every squeal, every pick scrape, everything is chopped up and edited. So on one hand, you might think, well, don't artists do that? Like, people, use the best take. People go out there and they record something, and it's not the same day sometimes. It's like over 6 months. The Beatles did that. They had like automated double tracking. People do that. Here's the difference. Again, it's the deception. So when this guy plays guitar, he's playing it on video, miming to it. But then when people say this is edited trash, this is just like, this is obviously completely produced, he'll say stuff like, no, it's not. How dare you? It's not, like, it's not a big deal. Why are you, like, getting upset? Like, if you look through the comments, people don't realize that this is, like, heavily edited. Like, yeah, here we go. Sounds like 10. Yeah, it sounds like 10 different instruments plus a synthesizer. Unbelievable, amazing. And then people get like really annoyed in the comments. You know what I mean? See, like, here we go. Look at this. This guy has no idea. Yes, but he's only using one instrument. Yes, but he's not using just one effect pedal. See, people are arguing about this. 100% a pedal. Electronic guitars don't just sound like that without effects. How long have you been playing? You know, again, it's the deception. Nobody is upset that Deadmau5 and Skrillex and all these other people, I shouldn't say nobody, most people aren't upset that Skrillex and Deadmau5 and all these other artists are making music to like chop up and heavily produce it. I think it's awesome. But if Skrillex sat down and said, yeah, I do all this stuff live, wrong. You don't. He does a lot of stuff, but he doesn't do all of it. And he's never been dishonest about that. This guy, what he does is he edits his videos, he pushes them out, and then he convinces people into thinking that he is playing it note for note. There's another guy that does this that's very annoying. Again, nobody would be upset. Most people wouldn't be upset if he was just honest about it. But it's Buried Alive does this too. There's a guy named Buried Alive. Does the same thing. And again, I can't play the music because of copyright, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he'll like sit down at a computer. He'll have his amp plugged in. He'll have his guitar. So he'll sit down. And then while he's playing, you'll hear like a boop, 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 like in the room. So you make, oh, he's playing this live. And then as soon as he starts playing, it cuts to a track. And again, it's heavily edited. Nobody is upset. Most people aren't upset that it's heavily edited. It's the fact he's being deceptive about it. That's why people like myself don't like it and they don't appreciate it. Because he can't actually play it like that live. And he's making it seem like he can. I'll give you an example. Let's take another medium. Let's look at art. Now, if somebody sat down and started painting something, right? And said, I painted this from memory. And they just started painting something. And then it was revealed they had something off to the side that they were looking at. You'd be like, you're not clearly painting that from memory. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I painted that too. It's like, you just said you painted it from memory. That's the part people are annoyed about. Or if they sat down and they started painting, they said, look what I just made, spur of the moment. Look what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Things you do when you're not really paying attention. If it's that deception. A bottom line, people do not like it, like myself. People don't like it when artists try to trick their audience in not a good way, in like a deceptive way. They're trying to trick them. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people really don't like this. And I'll give you another thing too. This is another angle. When people look at these guitar players, there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of people being upset. And that feeds the algorithm. So these guys are doing this on purpose. So for every person that comments, you're a fraud, why are you lying about your playing? Can you just play it live? Like do it for real live? They are getting the algorithm fed. And so it pushes this even more. So what it does is it teaches kids, and I see lots of kids, let's go check this video out. Let's go check it out. Okay, we got an ad. Even if I got this good, my dad would be like, but can you play Crazy Train? Trying to learn a Buried Alive song is like picking up Dark Souls. He can't even do it. What's the point? He can't even play the song like he's playing it. So anyways, yeah, see what I mean? There's people like completely misunderstanding this. Completely misunderstanding. So, oh man, it's brutal. It just is really brutal to see people like compare themselves to somebody who's not even actually doing it. And again, I can't stress this enough. I will say this one more time because I feel like somebody might take this out of context. The context is you can write however you want. Music is very subjective. People out there can play music however they want. But when you're deceptive about it, when you make it seem like you're doing something but you're not, that's why it sucks. That's why it's disappointing. And that's why all these people in the comments are saying it's so good. I can't do this because he can't either. He cannot either. It's absolutely insane. But good. I'm very happy people find music out there that they enjoy. It's a great experience to see people finding music that they like, but it's not a great experience to see people being deceptive. It's just not a great experience to see people being deceptive. Because what that teaches you ultimately is that deceiving people is what you should do, because you get rewarded for it. You get lots of viewers. You get lots of people commenting. You get lots of, obviously, hate too, but the hate rewards you as well. You know what I mean? You get that controversy, and you get paid. You get paid to be the villain. And I don't think that's right. I think there's people out there that should be making music and playing music in a non-deceptive way, and just making as the best music as possible to be entertaining. Like I said, look at Skrillex, look at deadmau5, look at all these other artists that are EDM, and they make electronic music that, obviously, Daft Punk, one of the most beautiful, beautiful bands of all time. They didn't trick people. They just said, hey, we made this. It's made of other things. So it's very weird how that goes. And, of course, they had their criticism, too. People be like, well, it's not real music because you're just pressing play. But they did write it. They did sit down. They recorded it. They made it as best they could. And you could make that argument about the Beatles. They sat down. They recorded it. They did the best they could. Could they play that live? They never said they could. They never made it sound like they were. So I know that's a big rant on it, but that's just a couple subjects that really upset me. Is that there's people being deceptive out there. There's people that are kind of tricking people into thinking certain things, and it looks terrible, because you inspire lots of people to do the same thing. And if you can't actually do it, then it's like, what are you doing? What are you inspiring? What are you, like, informing the audience? How to play great music. Trick your audience. Write it out as best you can, and then you trick them. I don't know, man. It's kind of lame. That's how I feel about it. It's a terrible experience. So, all right. Anyway, so that's my rant on AI music and being deceptive, and people not using AI and still being deceptive. So it's pretty consistent. So WD says, I'm the same way, Patrick. I observe that kind of thing, and it makes me feel like I'm in an idiocracy. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. It's absolutely insane that there's so many people that just don't. What's weird to me is people don't realize it, too. Because, like, they'll play the guitar, and then they'll do something, and it's like his hand moved, but there was no note. Or he picked the note, and it would have been a different sound to it. So obviously he edited this, which, again, fine. But don't make it look like he's playing it live. So 6 Foot says, yes, the thing about being deceptive is bad. I was saying how AI does some cool songs. And you know what? I'm sure there's great songs out there that use AI. I'm sure there are. But it's very weird to be a fan of a band or a song that technically doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Technically, it's not out there. So it's weird. But again, I have my concerns for the deception part. I'm not really too upset about the tool. The tool itself is fine. But because, again, there's so many things, like we pointed out with the automatic subtitles and things like that really show that it's useful, and that if a person did that, it would cost a lot of money, and it's not necessarily better for anybody. It's not a great experience. Draven says, opinion on Gaza. Well, that's not about guitar music or streaming, but, dude, I think it's painfully obviously at this point that if you look at the destruction of Gaza, that anybody that's out there supporting the absolute total destruction of any place over, what was it, hostages, was it? I'm not an expert. I haven't watched it super closely, but, I mean, from what you gather, it's like, how do you justify it? How do you justify that much destruction and that much chaos and that much death for that kind of like, well, they started it kind of thing? You know what I mean? Could you imagine if any other country did that before? You know what I mean? Could you imagine if, like, I don't know, trying to think of a country. I don't know. You could think of any country in the world, and it's like, hey, they're being mean to us. Let's go absolutely annihilate the entire area. I mean, the United States kind of did that with was Afghanistan, and then you had Iraq. But, like, I mean, we're talking absolute destruction, And hey, we weren't in the right too for the most part. So that's a whole different topic. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could justify it. That's the real question. How do you justify something like that? So, because if you look at the pictures, dude, you look at any picture and you're just like, it's complete decimation. Yeah, there you go, WD. There you go. The invasions, people being absolutely annihilated. And guess what? People reacted how they should have. They said, hey, we got to stop this. So, anyways, that's all I got to say about it. I mean, it's the other thing too is I hate to say it, but there's a lot of internet obstruction. There's a lot of internet occlusion when you talk about subjects like that. So because this is a music show and a guitar show and talking about streaming, probably not the best place to talk about it just because I don't want to get shut down. I cannot afford, and I will make this very clear on my show, I cannot afford to be as political as I want to be. But at the same time, of course, everybody has their feelings and their opinions. But you also have to be somewhat be able to touch on it a little bit. So, yeah, because I that's something that really bothers me about my place in YouTube right now as a streamer and a musician is that, you know, if I say something, even though I'm perfectly comfortable talking about it, the fact that anybody could talk about something and then YouTube might go, "You're talking about this too much. We're gonna have to shut this down." You know what I mean? We gotta take this away. You know what I mean? It's a very weird thing. It's a very unenjoyable experience to be on the internet and have like your opinion be kind of stifled. And then the other thing too is if that's your job, it's like, how do you get away with it? You know, I don't know. Hoof says, "Bro, can you even sweep?" No, my broom's outside. Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm not gonna get up and get it and show you. Just kidding. Anyways, but yeah, as a streamer, you kind of do have to kind of tread lightly on certain topics. I think it's easy to say, "Hey, genocide bad," but you know, being able to talk about it more is kind of like it's kind of a brutal way to kind of be a musician or a streamer and all that stuff. So, yeah, pretty much. I mean, WD. That's what's interesting too is that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there are a lot of people out there that that are scared to talk about certain things because it does get shut down. It does get kind of, like I said, everything I say gets recorded and put in a side panel. So there's not much you can do about it. So, but yeah, as far as streaming goes, that is one of the main criticisms I have. But to be fair, this is why I put the subject matters up there: guitar, music, and streaming, because you kind of get known for talking about something. If you have a subject that you talk about the most, that's who you get recommended to. So, for example, if I entertain that kind of dialogue, so if somebody starts talking, "Hey, I want to hear your opinion about this political event," then YouTube's going to start recommending you to political stuff, and it's really annoying. So I don't want to do that. I think that everybody should be interested in politics, but I don't want to be a political show. Like, there's a lot of people out there that know way more about it and have a better ability to express themselves, whereas these subjects, I could talk about all day. I have many years of personal experience. But if you'd have talked to me like a couple of years ago about certain political events, I would have been not only the wrong person, but probably the worst person to talk about it, you know? There's no way. So Draven says there is no such thing as freedom of speech anymore. No, there is, man. There is. It's just, here's the problem. Like I was saying, YouTube's a private company, so they're going to do what YouTube does. So if you go on any platform, like if I went on, let's just say, Twitter's going to have their own policies in place of things you can and can't say. Go on YouTube, they're going to have a slightly different version of it. TikTok, slightly different version of it. Kick, slightly different version of it. If I were to go outside of my front door, I could say whatever I want, though. Like, I could just talk. But this is a platform owned by private companies. So you kind of have to listen to what they say and do what they say because, hey, you know what? I mean, they're a company. They're allowing me to be on it. They are helping me make sure that I can do this properly. Unlike TikTok, for example. Like, we want to get into this. Platform versus platform. Check this out. So TikTok will just like slap you and be like, stop talking about stuff. But they won't tell you what. They don't tell you exactly what you did. YouTube's pretty good about that. YouTube would be like, hey, you can't use these certain words. I mean, you can, but we're just going to like shut you down. We can't have you like talking about that stuff, which makes sense. You know, they have advertisers. Both of them have advertisers. But at least YouTube, for the most part, will like let me know. Be like, hey, you can't play that song. The copyright owner is very upset, and they don't want people to be using that song on streams. Whereas other ones, it'll be like, no, it's fine. You can do that. Like, I'll give you an example. If I play Highway to Hell from AC/DC, I will get a notice after my stream. It'll be like, hey, you can't do that. But at least I know. And what YouTube does is they have a tool. You press a button once, and it'll just go delete that part of the audio. It's awesome. Whereas TikTok, no, they don't do that at all. So it's really weird how there's people out there that their job is to make sure that, you know, these tools exist, and that, you know, they got to make sure that the people that are on it are also taken care of. So are the copyright owners, etc. But when you go to like, for example, TikTok or Kick, I don't know what Kick's rules are. I'm pretty sure they're really relaxed over there. But then again, like, think about it this way: in my stream, in my text, I don't allow everyone to say everything. I don't allow a lot of swearing on my stream just because of how the algorithm works. I also don't want people to be jerks. Like, you know, full stop. There's a lot of people out there that say a bunch of crazy stuff, and I don't want them to be on my show. So there's a bit of authoritarianism. You know what I mean? So the point is that if I want to be a dictator about my own show, I'm free to. It's my show. It's my private show. And there's not that many people on it. It's not a democracy in here. But at the same time, I'm a man of the people, where if somebody says, hey, let's do this, and everybody's like, hey, let's try that out, or, you know, there's some sort of group discussion about it, it's like, okay, I'm a man of the people. I'll help people out. If somebody sends me, for example, on my other show, if someone sends me a donation and says, hey, you pick a song, I'm like, no, I'm not going to pick. I'll let you guys pick. So there is like a give and take to that. So, but when you run something, when you're in charge of something, there is that kind of, there is that angle that you look down at it as, is like, this is mine. So like YouTube, I don't own YouTube. Somebody, there's like a board of directors or something. They own YouTube. They're there to make money. They want to make a service. And that's what they do. And they're more than welcome to do that, obviously. That's their job. Oh, can I point something out real quick? Hold on. I just want to point this out. Buried Alive has a $100 hoodie. That is highway robbery, dude. I just wanted to point that out. I mean, he's welcome to do that, but that's crazy. $100 hoodie. I don't know, man. Just wanted to point that out. It's like, you can do whatever you want, but yeah, the idea is that there is a certain level of responsibility you have. Yeah, that's insane. $100 hoodie. Get out of here. And that's before shipping. I'm sure the shipping's crazy. But yeah, that guy sucks. That guy is such a jerk. Oh my God. I wonder what artist did their merch. Oh, I actually don't know. I think, not knowing anything about his stuff, I am pretty sure he does all the art, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is that guy sucks shit. Oops. But yeah, he like argues with people all the time in his comments and stuff, and it's like, dude, just stop being deceptive, and people wouldn't do that as much, at least. So, Carlos says, do you have to stop playing songs because of that? On this show, 100%. 100%. Moth, we were just talking about that. We literally were just talking about AI music. But yeah, that's why I can't play songs on this at all. I'll give you two big reasons why I don't on this channel. One, because I have a second channel where I play music. Obviously, that's where I'm going to do it. So I want to make sure that the music is on that channel and this is the talk show. Two, if you have copyrighted content in your live streams, they can't be monetized at all. One bit. So, for example, for every person watching this, I know we only got a couple hundred views or something like that. That's totally fine. But if anybody comes and watches this after the fact, and if you are, hello, watch the show live if you want to. If you're watching the show after the fact, I do get paid for that. And it's like, okay, cool. I want to make sure that the show keeps going. And if you have copyright music in it at all, you can't. You cannot do that. So I want to make sure this channel is very safe and protected and respectful. Whereas my other channel is basically like at the mercy of whatever's going on. WD says, does YouTube have a strike policy or is it just you're screwed? It's a strike policy, apparently. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Hopefully I never find out. But YouTube, like I said, they are very, very fair and kind about it. And that's not just because I'm on here. The reason I'm on here is because TikTok was terrible. TikTok was awful about it. There was no one to talk to. There's no way to figure out what was going on. This YouTube, this specific channel, there was a video I had where I had licensed music, and I actually had the license. I paid for it. Hey, your boy takes care. So I had a license to do it, and apparently it wasn't working. So I actually went through their process, and I said, I actually do own the license for this. Here's the message. And they went, okay, cool. Within 1 day, they went, okay, that looks good. It's back to monetized. I would never happen with TikTok, ever. So 6foot says, what's your favorite riff from your I don't know, dude. I usually don't. Anytime somebody asks me like a favorite question like that, like what's your favorite this, what's your favorite that, I have very few favorites. Very few. Not like a big like a question to answer. I'm not. Yeah, if you ever think like, oh, I'm going to ask Patrick his favorite, I usually just don't know. There's just so many, man. There's so many. Because I'll say something like, I don't know. But if you ask me my opinion, if you go like, Pat, what do you think of this band? Pat, what do you think of this riff? Pat, what do you think of this stuff? You know what I mean? Usually I'm very good at that. So, yeah, that's usually how it works. Skip says, my favorite riff right now is Money for Nothing. Big surprise. That's a very popular riff since they're on social media too, like TikTok, stuff like that. So fantastic for the Dire Straits. Good for them. WD says, oh, wow, well, that's nice. YouTube used to not be very open and cooperative with their creators. Hey, they learned their lesson. There's a reason I'm on here instead of YouTube. Or, there's a reason I'm on YouTube instead of TikTok. But I hate to say it, but I will probably be going back there to do multi-streaming just because the way that the algorithm is working. My YouTube channel is doing fine, but I want to make sure it keeps growing. And I think the best way to do that is to diversify a little bit. So, oh my God, yeah, the Krusty Krab, yeah. Yeah, usually when that happens, you can just leave and come back. The Krusty Krab. Let's just close all this stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, right. There wouldn't be nothing to copyright, thankfully. There's no audio, no video in the background, at least that I know of. Yeah, well, again, with the whole multi-streaming thing, it's like I really want to get Twitch involved. There were a lot of people that used to follow me on Twitch, and I had to stop because my internet wasn't strong enough to multi-stream. So I was like, ah. So yeah, we'll be going back to Twitch and TikTok and stuff like that in the near future. Probably this week. I think I want to get it set up for tomorrow or the next day. Moth says, when are you gaming next, Pat? Ooh, that's a great question. So I got good news and bad news with that. The good news is I do want to start doing Let's Plays and things like that, just to answer questions and have something going on in the background. The bad news is I have not made enough money to get a graphics card. I do have this computer. I did not buy a graphics card because they are equivalent to like half the price of the computer. So I have not bought one for this computer. I can borrow one and use it in the time being, but I don't want to do that. So, but I don't want to have to like have a graphics card that's technically not supposed to go in this computer. I could, but I don't want to. But yeah, they are money. But good news is they're going down in price really soon. Black Friday and November and Christmas and stuff like that. Prices are going to go down. I don't know by how much, but they're going to go down. So, But I don't have enough money to do that, which is why we're doing the Guitar Smash-a-thon. I want to be able to save up enough money to pay for some certain stuff for the show and make sure it's all good to go and the multi-streaming. And then finally, I can take like a week off or something like that to work on the album and like fully. So Carlos says, did it happen to you when playing on the live show to have a song idea? Yeah, I have song ideas all the time. There was a song, I can play this since it's not copyrighted, but there's a song that I wrote for the new album because somebody said something while I was playing Minecraft with them. It was really funny. They kept lagging behind, and they were like getting lost easily. And I was like, dude, we're trying to go somewhere. Like, you keep getting lost. Why do you keep getting lost? I think they were doing it on purpose, to be honest, but who knows. But anyways, they said, sorry, I'm easy to lose. And my brain went, oh, easy to lose. That sounds so pretty. So like I said, this isn't on the record, so I can play this. But it will be. So it goes like this. Easy to lose, you're hard to blame. Where have you been? I'm still the same. Why don't you choose? Hold on to pain. Where have you gone? I'm still the same. So pick me up or let me know. All dressed up, nowhere to go. Put me down or write me up. When you're right, you're right. Little sneak peek. There you go. But yeah, that song's gonna be on the next record. So a lot of the album is like fully written out, ready to go. I just need to sit down, write it out. Not write it out. Sit down, record it. But recording acoustic is so difficult because I really want to do them all in one take. So it's like a live album kind of thing. It's gonna be a pain. It is. I've already started trying to record stuff, and it's like, God, it sucks. It really does. Because anytime like there's a squeak in my house or there's a car horn outside or something, it's just like, son of a, you know what I mean? So it's really difficult to get things recorded and make sure they're good to go. But speaking of that, I got about one more minute. That's the end of the show for this Patrick Gnarly and company. You have been my company. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. I go live before my music channel, Patrick Gnarly, which I'm probably going to change eventually the name of it to Finals or something like that. So actually I can, not have to say my band name over and over again. But anyways, again, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be switching over to my main channel. Right now it's called Patrick Gnarly. That's it. It's where I play all my music and I hang out, I sing and do all that stuff. I got to get off of the show, and then we'll be good to go. So anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. Good night. If you're not coming to the second show, you're missing out, but come on over. Check out the link in my channel description. I'll be in there. So thank you so much for watching, and stay gnarly.